Holes in Our Hearts provides snapshots of military life and how the military has affected lives. It is written from the perspective of New Mexico active duty military members, veterans of the Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard, as well as their family members and caregivers. Some of the writing represents the first time many authors have revealed their innermost thoughts to anyone. Some of the stories are written by established authors with numerous publishing credits. All are worth your time to learn why we continue to honor the military on behalf of a grateful nation. The contributions are organized alphabetically with memoirs, poetry, essays, humor, fiction, etc. mixed. A total of 95 written contributions were accepted from 54 New Mexicans. Each represents a tale worth reading, internalizing, and contemplating the experiences we as a nation expect our young men and women, their families, and their caregivers to deal with, sometimes long after their military service has ended and nothing is left but holes in our hearts.
Holes in Our Hearts is more than a collection of works written by individuals with some connection to the United States military services, whether active duty, veterans, or relatives of those who served. These short stories, memoirs, poems, essays, etc., are the expressions of deeply ingrained memories and experiences. It is often difficult for those who have served and their family members to verbally relate memories and experiences to others. Whether too personal, too poignant, or traumatic, these memories and experiences, more often than not, rest in the back rooms of their minds, never to be shared. This lack of sharing is tragic on two levels. First, those who never had the privilege of hearing these stories will never fully understand what it means to serve their country through the military. And the people who had the privilege of serving never have the opportunity to realize the catharsis of sharing their experiences. This anthology includes offerings for members of all the armed services, as well as family members of men and women who served. It is a beautiful collection of works that are, at times, emotional, humorous, frightening, enlightening, or thought-provoking. The reader should be aware that the recollections in Holes in Our Hearts are, in many instances, the only way that the authors could share with you their memories and experiences. And I hope that the contributors to this collection have realized some psychic and cathartic relief through the relating of their memories and experiences.
I would like to talk about the sculpture that I did almost exactly 10 years ago. And we dedicated it here with the mayor and a few other people. It's called Holes in Our Hearts because I believe that a lot of the people left behind here, have holes in their hearts. So I made holes in these sculptures as a way to celebrate those people who have gone beyond and let these holes, there are 400 of them because 400 people died. People come here on August 7th, which is the dedication day of this, to put in notes and photographs and medals and letters and objects and whatever into the large holes. And the small holes are fitted for flowers, like a stem of flower will be sticking out that day as well. Now, this is nicely placed next to another Vietnam memorial, which is like much more of the regular kind of memorials that you will see in other veterans parks. Soldier kneeling, with a rifle and a helmet and all this. I want it to be contemporary because I think that the families who lost somebody need to constantly be reminded about who their husband was. But I think that it's very, very important that they have some place to go to. These I call message boards or message walls. Okay, and they feature the holes in which to leave memorabilia, flowers, notes, photos, objects to someone. Just as a wonderful example, some years ago, the Veterans Office got a Purple Heart from somebody from Kansas. The lady was dying. Her husband died in Vietnam. He got a Purple Heart. She had no family left, so she sent it to us here, to store it. The things that are stuck into the larger holes are these notes and letters and whatnots. They then are picked up every week and they are taken into the building, and then they have displays from time to time. Just a little bit about the pieces. There are 3 pieces. The largest one is made out of concrete and then painted over. And this was done by 2 Zuni brothers whose father also was injured in Vietnam. And they worked on the gray wall. The steel wall was done by Eric Verlander, and he's a specialist in steel. And the third one is travertine, and we have a travertine mine about 30 miles south of Albuquerque, and they cut it out specially for me for this monument. And so these are the materials that were done. The travertine is was by Jim Lardner, and the brothers were Marvin and Staley Cloyet from Zuni. And what's really interesting also is that when the rose garden behind me is flowering, the kids from across the housing project climb over the wall and they pick a flower and they will stick flowers into the little holes over there. So that's very, they themselves honor the Vietnam veterans. And just like the kids, I come here very often, just drive in, not necessarily to check on my wall, but this entire park is gorgeous. They say that after the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C., this is maybe 2nd, 3rd, or 4th place in the country in terms of its beauty, its broadness, and its explanations. I also would like to thank really, like Roger Knight, who was one of the leaders of the Veterans Park here, Sarah Bernalessi, and of course Tina Reams, who's an architect friend of mine, and I think also the Albuquerque Arts Board. So much appreciation to their help and for their involvement in this. Thank you.
There's a crushing pain in my chest, a piercing pain that denies me rest. I endure not for me, but for those who will never be. Young men and women who died, paid the ultimate price of war, now stand at heaven's door. Their future is nevermore. The evidence of a soldier's presence is nothing but a slight residue absorbed in the vapor of time. My heart, that vital organ, pumps anguish over our loss. Each chamber fills with grief, for which there is no relief. My blood flows like lava from Earth's inner core, searing my spirit, knowing your physical presence is nevermore. When the bugle blows its final notes, toward heaven your spirit floats. I dare not question the hand of God, for in heaven you now trod. Your destiny was written from the start. Your absence will forever leave a hole in my heart.